when I saw that Twitter thread with Fraser Nelson and the chair of the Sage Modelling Committee, I mean, I was just gobsmacked by the words that were coming out of this guy's mouth.
He just didn't get it, did he?
I know. I was like, how many brain cells does this guy have? I can't believe that is the science that we are listening to. Worst case scenarios with no probability attached. And yes, whilst it is the case that, yes, it's more transmissible and potentially, even though it's milder, we still get higher hospitalisations because it moves more. Like, where is the end to this? What is the exit route?
The end is learning to live with COVID, and that
so
means
why aren't we
taking
doing that
public
now?
health measures. That means things like working from home. It means
what, and we're going to do that forever and trash our
It means that
economy?
there isn't a planet normal anymore. We've got to make a planet.
Well, that's
pandemic.
a really interesting point. That is a really interesting point, and let's unpack that now, because it depends what your definition, I suppose, of learning to live with COVID is. Right now, my definition of it, frankly, is that we all find a way of returning to normality and accepting the fact that this thing exists. And hopefully we have a strain, although it's not ideal, obviously, a bit like Omicron, where really hospitalisations and deaths are down, and we can kind of just crack on. What is your definition of learning to live with this thing, always having some kind of restrictions, Amy?
If you look at where we are at the moment, between 3% and 12% of people get long COVID. Right? If there's going to be a massive transmission of people getting COVID in this country because of Omicron, which is kind of inevitable based on the science that we know, even if it is milder, they're still going to get it, then that makes 1 million people living with long COVID. That's not right. We need to have restrictions in place now to make sure that not everyone in the whole world gets COVID.
OK, Benjamin, I can see you shaking your head.
Yeah, no, there's far more people who are affected by things like losing their jobs, losing their livelihoods, not being able to live normal social lives, being locked away, all of these things.
I'm not calling for a lockdown.
The thing is, long COVID for 1 million people is, that's bad, but the entire country living under any restrictions, any of these restrictions are dehumanising. We need to just get rid of them, trust people to be responsible for their own lives. And I think we've learned. We've had a year of all of these restrictions. I think we know how to avoid spreading a virus.